Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild and Wingless. Today I got with myself Brad Warren from Victoria. Brad, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Andrew.
Hey mate, thank you very much for agreeing to come on. I know we've been sort of playing a bit of phone tag there, trying to get the right time, but you've been one of the drivers who, when I heard the announcement come for Wow Series, I didn't know much about you. I've seen you on the Victorian Facebook page, Wingless Facebook page, with results and so forth, but actually who Brad Warren is, I'm not too sure. So it's been great over the last few weeks watching you race in the Wow Series and also getting around. But if you wouldn't mind, just let us know a bit of a brief history of how you started off and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I love watching the show. I'm a fan.
Thanks, mate.
But basically, on me, I sort of my family's in Speedway. My dad was a racer, so it was a bit of a natural progression. You know, we grew up at racetracks all around Victoria. He raced sedan stuff. When I turned 10, we got our SSA junior division that was down here. It had just got going in Victoria. So me and Dad built a Mini at the age of 10, and that's how I got going. I raced a Mini for 2 years, and then we built Datsuns, and we raced them till we were 17, I think, 16, 17. And then as we were finishing up juniors, that's where the wingless stuff come along. So Dad, being a tin top man, was sort of leaning me towards tin top stuff. And we actually went to the Avalon swap meet to buy a B grader, like a modified sedan, at the swap. And my mate Andy Hibbert and another mate of mine, Jai Saunders, they'd gone wingless racing, and I'm like, Dad, let's go do this. He's like, we don't know nothing about it. I'm like, yeah, so what? You know, the boys are doing it, we'll be fine. So we ended up talking him out of buying a sedan that day, and we went home. And a local bloke in Warrnambool, because I grew up in Warrnambool, Phil Johnson used to drive the KFC car before him and Carl Ludeman both had KFC cars. We actually rang Jono about buying a diff. We knew another bloke, Lee Giblin, had a chassis for sale, and I was going to start buying a few bits and pieces. And Jono actually rang us back, and he said, I've got a whole roller here. You know, I'll price it pretty good and come down and get it. So we went that way, which was the best thing that ever happened. Phil Johnson, obviously being a sprint car man, and mate, he is a jack of all trades. He can make anything happen. He sort of took me under his wing and led me and showed me the ropes, and that's how the wingless stuff happened. So we first season we didn't do much racing. I was a first year apprentice, so we were there's a few nights the tow car ran on methanol on the way home because we didn't have fuel money to get on. But that's how it used to go. But yeah, we first year we had a feature win. We had some good results. That was when it was still NOS sprints then. So the next year I think is when it went national, and so it was my second year in wingless. They had the first ever Aussie title at Warrnambool. I ran second in that. Which was pretty cool. So that was, second to Rory Button from Mount Gambier. Rory's probably one of the fiercest dudes I've ever raced against, and he's a good buddy of mine. And then, so we done that, and right up till 2010, I think I raced wingless, and we won the aggregate the last year we raced. We won the Victory Lane Series, which is like the Eastern Series in Victoria, in 2010. And then that was when my first opportunity come along to go full-time sprint car racing. So during those years in the wingless, I'd had a couple of goes for Rhianna Burley's father, Craig, before she was old enough to drive. Mm-hmm. We did okay. I knocked a diff out, been a wing, did all that stuff, you know, learning the ropes. And then so I got my first big opportunity in 2010 to move down. We ended up packing up and moving to Melbourne and raced sprint cars up until 2015 or 16 or 17 it was, for a few different people. And then I sort of had a couple of kids. I got married, started a business, so I was going to sort of pull up. And as soon as I told people I was retiring, ever since then, I seem to be doing more racing than I've ever done before. so now I race for the Garlic team, Steve Garlic, and the Tritech Lubricant 62 cars. Yep. The reason I'm racing for them is because his two daughters, Jess and Casey, normally race their modified production in the wingless. Both of them have started families and building houses, and so I've always been pretty good family friends with them and tried to help Casey out with her driving from time to time. And Steve-O helped me out with my race cars. And I just sort of, when Case couldn't race, Steve-O gave me a ring and said, hey, you want to hop in and have a go? And that's how it sort of spanned from there. So we got a pretty good deal. Steve-O gives me an awesome race car. I wouldn't be able to do the things I do without the guys I drive for, obviously. But he presents and gives us a good car every night, and we're having fun doing what we're doing now.
Yeah, right. That's pretty cool, because I remember when I started doing some digging to see, sort of Brad Warren, what's he done, where you've been. mate, I'm seeing like sedan cars.
Yeah.
I saw sprint cars. I actually had a chuckle when I seen Fast Sprint Studios did some sign on one of your cars there, Isaac Ruse. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Isaac's, good mate of mine. But I was sort of going through, saw the wingless stuff, and then I also saw like demolition derby stuff, and I'm thinking, mate, this guy's a real racer. Like, you give him anything with a wheel, man, he's gonna give it a crack. Like, that's
Yeah, man. Yeah, I so obviously sedan stuff is where the heart's at, you know, because that's what Dad raced and that's what we grew up with. And I love a good tin top race, like street stocks, mod productions, production sedans. You know, you get a good feel to them, man. And bumpers are for bumping and rub rails are for rubbing, as Brett Barron would say. And that's what it. But it's good fair racing. But yeah, I enjoy that. And I think now, like I'm 34 now, my dad really enjoys when we do my dad's not a big open wheel fan at all. He didn't like sprint cars and stuff. But when I do the tin top racing now, Dad always comes to the tin top racing and he's right into it. And I think I appreciate that bit a little bit more now that I'm older.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we're doing anything, mate. I've got crash and bash cars. I've demolition derbies. Me and a local bloke down here, Mick Dam, were actually nominated for that big teams demo at Toowoomba in July. So.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I'll try and catch up with you about that later on. But wow, all right, you're full on into it.
So yeah, and just I don't know, just ever since the sprint car thing, the last full-time deal I had with the sprint cars was racing for the McClure team, and we won Mandy's 360 mainline Dynalog Dynamometers All-Star Series. There you go, Mandy. I got it right.
Yes.
And then after that season, you know, it was good, but the travel was a lot racing the sprint cars, and sprint cars are a very big mental game too. You've got to be really, really on. Where I find what I'm doing now, especially with Steve-O, you know, I can be dad and work during the week, and then come Friday, you shut the door at work and you go racing. And I like all the people in Wingless. I enjoy everyone's company. I'm racing with guys I've known for a long time. I'm meeting new guys. And it's just, I think it's enjoyable to be around. It's good vibe, good atmosphere.
Yeah, right. No, that's good. That's good. Well, I was about to ask you, what is it that you enjoy so much about wingless racing? Maybe you just answered it, but
yeah, I think, and the competition in wingless, like it's I froth the fact when you can pull in the pits and there's 60 cars and 60 blokes can win.
Yep.
I like it that when every time you roll out the gate, you got to have your foot in the bucket and you got to be on the money and you can't afford to make a mistake. I enjoy that part of it as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said before, when first came to me, you got announced as part of the WOW deal, the WOW series. What were your thoughts? Was it your idea to put in a expression of interest, or did someone do it on your behalf? How did it sort of come about for you to get that contract?
So Steve Garlick, that owns the car I drive for, the 62 car, he just gave me a ring. He goes, "Hey, this looks pretty cool. You want to have a go at it?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right, let's do it." So nice. that's pretty much how it went. And I'm a fan of points racing.
Yep.
I enjoy. I've had a lot of luck in series and championships and stuff, and I like titles, but I think points racing means a bit more to me because you're good for the whole season, not just one night.
Yep.
And it proves the sort of person and driver you are and what your team's like when you go hunting points and racing all over the country, you know. When your back's against the wall, how do you pull yourself out of it, you know? I enjoy that part of it. So the WOW series, and because it's the only national series going in Australia.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And to be a part of the first one, I think it's only going to get a lot bigger and a lot better.
Yep.
I think the racing that Wingless are putting on at the minute is the best I've ever seen it.
Yep.
The tracks have been fairly well catered. Like even Toowoomba the other week when they'd had a ton of rain, it was cowboy up and rough, but you could still move around and go if you wanted to go. Sydney was obviously, you know, they battled heat and it got pretty one lane at the end, but that happens from time to time. But like once we start getting down to Simpson, mate, Simpson's, I call it Sim Vegas. Like it's a pleasure dome.
Really?
You won't search. In my opinion, Simpson Speedway is best track in Australia.
There you go. Well, I've actually heard that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the best. It doesn't matter. I've been lucky. I've raced 4 or 5 different classes there.
Yep.
But you go to Simpson, there's never a bad night there. Every category puts on, the track caters for awesome racing in every class across the board. And just it's out in the middle of the country. I grew up 20 minutes from there, so I'm a little bit biased about it. But
yeah, right.
But yeah, it's unique in its own way. But yeah, I think you get wingless down there with the WoW series, like they'll sell it out. It'll be 60. It'll hit the cap mark.
Yeah.
And you'll see some of the best wingless racing you've ever seen in your life there.
Oh, mate, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we haven't had a good run, but I'm looking forward to that. But so let's talk about your running so far on the WoW series. You went to Toowoomba. Have you been to Toowoomba before that?
Yeah. So I'd raced. I did the Street Stock Australian title the year before, I reckon. Or
yeah, right.
The years before that.
Okay.
And that's the only time I'd been to T-Bar though. So
right. So when you went back there with the wingless, what were your thoughts going in there?
I was actually kind of hoping it was going to get slick up to the fence, just because I think that provides the best wingless racing when it can get wide.
Yep.
But obviously with all the rain they had before, Ryan Harris is one of the best track promoters you've seen. Like he won't run a race if it's going to be terrible. So as soon as they said, "Hey, we're making it happen," I knew it'd be good.
Yep.
But I liked it. We started 6th, I think, in the feature, and we had our way to 2nd. So I just. I think they put it on. It was a good show. It was a well-run event. And I think being the first series round, they got through everything good. You know, obviously the people running the series are still, everyone's working out how it's going. Yep. But I think everything was good. I liked it. And we got a good points haul from it and moved into Sydney.
Yeah, so I was very impressed with your racing throughout the heats as well, out there in Toowoomba. Yep. You're definitely one of the cars moving forward every time you hit the track. And as I said, didn't know who you were from a bar of soap, but you're, like straight away, once I started seeing how you were moving the car around, you weren't using your right rear to move people out of the way, nothing like that, no diving in. I was thinking, oh, geez, this is going to liven up for this feature race. And that feature race did get alive. Yep. Especially you and Brad McCarthy had a bit of a battle there. Then you quickly got legs from him. And I guess that's when I realised that VX62's got some power because McCarthy's are no slouches. And,
no, and that was a good race, but just the track was that cowboy. I think I used all my muscles up.
Were you gassed out too, were you?
Yeah, when we pulled up on the infield, I spoke to Scotty and Brad, and I'm like, "How you feeling?" And Brad's like, "Oh no, I'm toasting." I'm like, "Oh good, it's not just me." Then
yeah, right, okay. Because I was going to say, like, they're two of the fittest boys I reckon we have in wingless right now, Scotty and Brad. And,
definitely.
Wow.
They are very fit, and I'm definitely not as fit as them. I'm a dad bod representing middle-aged man, you know. I enjoy beer and fast food. So.
Yeah, no, I hear. No, but okay, so then you came to Sydney. Thoughts on Sydney? You been there before, or?
No, never seen Sydney before. So I raced at Parramatta at the wingless title there, 09, 10 maybe it was.
Yep.
That first one they had at Parramatta, so I did that, and I raced the sprint car at Parramatta. But Eastern Creek facility is hands down, it's a coliseum, one of the most beautiful places I've ever driven into.
Yep.
The bitumen in the pits, I think, made it 30 degrees hotter.
Dude,
they need a little bit of grass in there.
Yeah. It's I was trying to explain that to people. Like, it's all well and good when you're not on dirt or grass or bindies, whatever. But geez, that heat off the tarmac, she gets you.
Yeah, it was hot, but beautiful facility. Racing wise, we did pretty good. We were lucky. We were in the very first heat of the night, so the track was there for me. I think we started 8th and got to 4th.
Yep.
Then the second heat, we started 3rd, ran 2nd. It was already laying rubber on the bottom, and then the feature race was pretty self-explanatory for itself. Yeah. I think we lost one spot. We started 8th, ran 9th, but I think at the minute we're still 2nd in the series overall. So I said to Steve over my car owner, if we can be in the sort of top 5 leading into the run home when we get down to the tracks that we race on a lot, that puts us in a good position.
Absolutely,
you know? So, like Simpson and Mount Gambier, we run really good at. Mildura, I've done plenty of laps around there and a few different things. Like we won that 360 series there, so I'm confident coming into it. Just it's a luck game too. It's 80% luck. You got to have lady luck on your side.
It is. I was unfortunate for Scotty Thompson. I was there saying the bloke never works on his car, and he had a real bad night in Sydney.
He'd do a diff in the first heat.
Yeah, did it. Yeah, ripped a diff. Yeah, he had I know. He said, "Oh, did you take photos of us working on the car this time?" I said, "No, mate. I was too worried. I didn't want to get close." But I felt sorry for them. But it just goes to show you go from and no disrespect them, but hero to zero very quickly. Tyson Martin pulled out a win. Like, who saw that coming after that bad like they had up there at Toowoomba? So it's just throwing things around.
I think Toowoomba might have put a lot of people off about Tyson. He's fast, mate.
I know he's fast, but I know also like the South Australian title where my Tyson won. Tyson Martin had a bad night there as well. quick up until when it all went bad. He came to Eastern Creek once or twice before, had one or two quick runs in the heats, then hit bad luck. So I think it just must be the Tyson name. It's either good luck or it's just bad luck. It's just one of those things. So, but Tyson Martin's definitely looking good now, but he's got to overcome those that DNF. And then you looked at, like we spoke about, Jack McCarthy. Really good run in the feature up at Toowoomba, but bad run in the heats. Well, one run in the heats, and that unfortunately sealed the deal for him. But then I'm not sure what happened in Sydney, but I've got to try and catch up with him. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how we do all fare up to go to Simpson. And I'm hearing a lot of the Victorian boys are like, yeah, now you're coming to my playground. Here we go. And I'm thinking, but you're right. They will easily get the 60 cars. Easily. Hands down.
Oh, it'll be, give it an hour, it'll be done.
Yeah. Like, look at the SummerSlam. 72 cars. Boom. Done.
Yeah, man. And 72 guys that can win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going through that list.
For 4 nights. Like, it is a stacked field. And that's I think, in Victoria, especially down southwest Victoria, people were very spoiled for a long time with a lot of real good sprint car racing going on.
Yep.
So, where I think now, like, sprint cars, I think the nominations are a lot lower than they were. I think just because of the cost, people are picking and choosing their racing. But the wingless racing and the Formula 500 racing down here, I think, is some of the best racing you'll see.
Yep.
Like, you watch a wingless race at Simpson, and it's as good as any sprint car race they'll ever put on there.
Yeah, right. Yep. I think you're right. I mean, we started noticing wingless towards the end of the Parramatta era. Yep. I couldn't tell you how many nights that, we would just be, Tyson would go hammer and tongs at, like, Mark Blyton, and Mark would just have him. Like, he'll get past Mark, and Mark would just come back. Blyto just knew where he was going every time. And that was back when Parramatta was able to run. Like, you could run the bottom, run the top, and then they'll put on some really good racing. And then we started to see after that a lot of the others, and I'm not knocking sprint cars, but after that, you sort of, I don't know, it's almost like they've got a lot of power, but as soon as that aero speed comes into it, they get spread out more because they're too close, they wash out. But anyway, wingless have just been able to pick up the slack and just race hard and fast. And you go to a track sometimes, you see 3 wide. I saw Chris Temby the other night showing me Lang Speedway. He showed me a video on him racing Lang, and it's like a little track that, to me, looked pretty smallish. And they're like 3 wide. Like,
Lang's
what the heck?
boring.
Wow. So, all right, let's talk about Lang. So we're going to SummerSlam. What's your thoughts about going to SummerSlam? You looking forward to it?
Yeah, man. So the first time I ran SummerSlam was 2 seasons ago. We ran second to Trav Miller.
Okay, now help me here. That was the first year SummerSlam happened, was it?
I think it was the second, mate.
Second, okay.
Second one.
All right.
But that was the first time I'd hopped in the garlic car.
Yep.
Because I reckon it was Christmas Day. I was sitting at home and Steve-O rang me because Casey's daughter, when she was putting her shoes on or something, she fell and smacked her hand in the cupboard and broke her fingers.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
that's some aggressive shoe putting on, I think. Wow.
Yeah. So that was Steve-O rang me like Christmas Day. He's like, hey, do you want to run boxing night at Avalon in the mod? And then we've got SummerSlam in the wingless. I'm like, yeah, man, for sure. So that was the first time I ever raced Steve's wingless for him was SummerSlam Horsham.
Okay.
And I led that feature till 2 to go, I think, and Trav Miller went around the top of me to check.
No way.
Yeah, Trav's a racer. He's good. He's good to race with. But SummerSlam, I think, is grouse. I like the concept of it. I like that it's been 3 days in a row. I like that it's 4 days in a row. I like the tracks that it's at because it's so versatile. Like, you got Lang that's a bull ring. You go to Mount Gambier that's banked up. Mount's a very good wingless track, and it's a beautiful place.
Yep.
Then you come to Simpson that's egg-shaped and its own unique thing that always puts on badass race. And then we finish off at Warrnambool, which is the be-all and end-all down in the southwest of Victoria.
Pretty much is, isn't it? Yeah, that's like the holy grail down there.
And then everybody's going to be pretty puffed out with having a beer on the last night, I think.
Yeah, far out. 4 nights of racing. Because that's the thing. When I first heard about it, I remember it a couple of years ago, and was that the series that got cut because it was shut down?
No.
Like, I got to be careful with the words I use, so don't take everything I say literally. But
they didn't take interstate nomination.
There we go. Okay.
Yes, that's the one.
So that's the one. So that's the one that I think young Troy Carey, who's been on my show before, he did a deal with LFA and drove their car down there, and because that was a local car, that's how they got around that rule. Good on him, Troy. Smart man.
I think at that point in time, I had a spare. So my brother Jake races wingless as well.
Right. Okay.
And we built another car down at his place, and I had it registered. I rang John Egan and offered him my logbook. I said, "Hey, just put VX84 in your car, mate. Come race."
There you go.
So, yeah, but Paul was like, "Oh no, we don't want to upset anyone."
Paul is a good man. He's a good man. But all right, so that's the series because I do remember that. And then as soon as they sort of closed off for us, I remember a lot of the New South Wales guys were saying, "Right, next year we're allowed back. We're going back with vengeance." You know, there was talk, a whole bunch of us going down there, and they're a little caravan, trying to invade you guys and take the win. But other racing came up. But I just remember thinking like that was 3 nights back there, wasn't it? I swear that was 3 nights.
It used to be. So I've done it where it's been Horsham, Simpson, Warrnambool.
Yep.
Because that was during the COVID bit, I think. So Mount Gambier couldn't happen.
No.
And then last year it was meant to be, it was Mount Gambier, Simpson, Warrnambool, but Warrnambool got washed out.
Yep.
I believe.
2 of the 3. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So we did Mount Gambier, which I ran second to Blake Walsh. We had a ripper race, sliding each other for
right.
And then Simpson, I think we ran third. But it's just a well-oiled machine. The Vic Wingless Association down here, they run a really good ship. Yeah. Everything's organised well. The racing's well. The tracks down here are grouse. And I like that they've added the 4th round of Lang. Lang's a little country track.
Yep.
And it's one of them tracks that's probably suffered a little bit since COVID,
Right.
Trying to get car numbers in the gate and stuff like that. So I like the fact that Wingless are taking 70 cars there and they'll get a good crowd because they draw locals out there.
Yeah, right, okay.
And I like the fact that the Wingless Club, is getting back to some of them tracks and supporting them and making sure, they stay open for kids like me when I started racing juniors, and quarter midgets and stuff like that. Them places can't run if they don't get numbers in the gate. So I like that it's gone there.
No, you're spot on, right? And you mentioned before with Vic Wingless, you guys have got your SummerSlam series, you got your Super Series. I know there's all different sort of other racing down there. It's almost like the place to go. If you want to race wingless in Australia and you want to race and be competitive, try and set up a car in Victoria. Like that's, I'm looking at all the fuel site and you see all the races come up and I just sit there thinking, man, they are just so spoilt for choice. Like,
we're very fortunate. So I lived in a little town called Tarang. It's like half an hour from Warrnambool.
Yep.
But look, there's 6-7 tracks within an hour and a half or a couple of hours from you. You know what I mean? And
that's insane.
And you could race Portland on a Saturday night and come back and run Darlington or Lang on a Sunday. They used to do day shows.
Really?
And even Warrnambool at the start of the year used to do the odd day show here and there. Like we'd get 2 nights of racing in, no worries.
Wow.
So, and then now I live down in East Gippsland, down near Druin.
Yep.
And down here I'm sort of spoiled as well. I've got Druin, Nyora, Rosedale, Bairnsdale, Avalon. Like they're all a couple of hours away from me. So, yeah, Victoria's very spoiled for choice when it comes to speedways.
Absolutely. So, how you think you and the Garlic team are going to fare up for this SummerSlam deal?
Well, I think we'd be good, man. We're coming.
Yep.
I don't show up to run second. I know that's a bit arrogant to say, but
no, it's got to be said.
We all race cars to win. That's what we're there for. And they give me an awesome opportunity, and we got awesome sponsors on the car. So I want to put in a good result and get a good result for them. And I think I'm a bit of a WWE closet fan. So the belt really, I want the belt.
I'm not gonna name names, but the amount of people when I speak to them about SummerSlam and the belt, they all pretty much say the same thing. I think there's a fair few of us who back in the day wish we had the belt at home when we were kids watching the wrestling. So
So,
I did ask Blake Walsh if he wore that belt into like a KFC or something like that on the way home to say the champ is here, and he didn't, which I was disappointed in. And I said, right, I'm going to make an effort to find out whoever wins the belt this time. That's one of the stipulations you have to do. You have to walk into a KFC before you order your Zinger burger, say the champ is here.
And actually, I'll tell you what, if we can get it done, I'll nearly do it nude with just the belt on.
There we go, nude. You heard it here. He's going to do it nude.
To do that.
Brad's going to do it nude. There we go. All right, nice. We just got to bail him out afterwards.
Yeah, but no, I'm definitely happy to be doing the SummerSlam. And like I say, because we've had a second and a third the last couple of years, I'd really like to win one, which everyone wants to win it. But yeah, I think we've got a race car for it. We've got all the things in place to give us a good result. I've just got to do my job. So
yeah, right. No. That's I have been watching you guys. Like I did keep an eye on you guys at I actually, believe it or not, I tried to come have a beer with you at Toowoomba. I walked over to your car. The car was sitting there. I'm thinking, where is he? And someone said, "Oh, he's back up there doing some PR stuff, so he must have been up there with Wade and everyone else." And so I thought,
right.
"Oh, I've got a beer for him." And anyway, someone took it, but I was like, "Damn, I wanted to talk to you there." And then I wanted to catch up, obviously, at Sydney, but Sydney went the way it did. Actually, we had running races. I don't know where you were on that one, but we had running races for some stupid reason.
At Sydney?
Yeah. After the racing, we had running races. And I can tell you,
really?
Tyson Martin won that too. He beat Chris Temby in the end there. It was pretty good. I don't know why we had running races, but we had running races. But no, it'll be cool to sort of see what you guys do down there because I'm in love with that transporter he's got.
Yeah, so Steve built that all himself,
dude.
Mate. He's amazing at everything he touches. Like he genuinely. So the mod production and the truck and the race cars, like everything he does well. And like I say, I'm only as good as the race car I'm hopping in, mate. And he gives me a hot rod every night.
Yeah,
everything. No. That thing's a pleasure to drive, and it don't matter which car it is, the wingless or the mod. So
really. Oh no, I love that transporter. To me, he wins every time he rolls in that gate. That thing looks amazing.
Yeah. So he when he goes to Kingaroy, it can actually take two cars in the back of it. It's got some clip-in stands, so the mod goes on the bottom, a little Corolla on the top. So when it goes up there, he's got a road car to get around in.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, so he can fit two in there.
He's a smart thinker, isn't he?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So then, after you get back from SummerSlam, you're going to have next month, February is going to be round 3 and 4 of the WoW series. And then not long after that, we're going to hit into the last round, but you're going to have the Australian title at Mildura.
Yep.
So you like that place too. What are your thoughts about running there? I think we're going to have over 100 cars. I think we've very much spoken about it on the show numerous times. We're going to have, again for the SummerSlam, sorry, there's one thing I missed, and was the Tasmanians. You do have Tasmanians there. You got everyone representing for the SummerSlam except for WA. But come the Australian title, everyone. We're going to have a car from every state and territory. That's going to be amazing. That's going to be awesome to see.
I think they're going to get a lot more. Like everyone knows, it's going to be over 100.
Yeah.
But I reckon they're going to get a lot. Like I think there'll be 150 cars there, if not more.
Well, so how many? Because I reckon you guys have got a lot. And I keep forgetting to ask the question. Down in that area of like where the SummerSlam's been run. So that's over in the west of Victoria, right?
Yep. So that's southwest Victoria.
Southwest. You guys have got to have a lot of wingless sitting down there that aren't out and racing at the moment, or sort of getting out.
Mate, we were getting 60 cars to a club show at Simpson 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, like there is heaps and heaps. And what I think Mildura offers, it's sort of in the centre.
Yep.
Like, it's not far for you guys. It's not far for South, like the Adelaide Murray Bridge guys. It's about the same distance for everyone to get to.
Yeah.
And everyone knows how good that racetrack is. And I think being that time of the year, and because it's got the Oz title and the WoW series, obviously the WoW series, I don't know how they're going to cap it back to 60, but it's got to happen, I suppose.
Yep.
But I think there'll be cars from everywhere.
Yeah. I think you're right. I just can't wait to see the first Australian title for wingless racing with a car representative from every state. And when I started talking about this, I started thinking about it too, and I thought, you're in. This is how I think about things. But you're in Wade Orange's backyard. You got wingless racing there. He's going to be the promoting voice of it. What is going to happen in Mildura with a car from each state and territory? Like, we're going to have some pretty cool, fun stuff going on leading up to the Australian title. After the Australian title, I think a majority of people I've spoken to, they're all staying in town, so we're going to have big parties all week. It's going to be crazy. But I'm just thinking, like, it could be our opportunity to do what Chariots of Thunder do in Darwin.
Yep.
For wingless to do something like that. So if you take a little bit what Lismore did, and Mick and Kim, I always sing their praises. Love you guys for what you guys did. Throw a little bit of Mildura into there, a bit of spice with Wade. This thing's going to be insane. Like, insane.
And the thing, I think, what Lismore offered, which was cool, was the entertainment value.
Exactly.
Like the walking out with the fireworks banging off and stuff, man. Like that made us feel like Hollywood, like us race car drivers, Like we're just little wingless like people.
Yep.
We're not massive budget teams or anything like that. But for me, walking out there with the fireworks and that going off, waving the crowd, high fiving the kids, that's cool. Like and I think that's given everyone the sniff of, hey, if you try a little bit, you get a lot more out of it for everyone.
What can you get? What were your thoughts when you walked through that curtain?
I just wow.
Yeah.
Like sparks going off, Wade commentating, the crowd. Like the kids had a line up there. Like you were high-fiving them going down the road.
Yep.
So what was originally supposed to happen there was we were supposed to do that and walk through the crowd round to where our cars were on the infield. But obviously there was that big crash. I don't know if it was one of the sea mains or something. There was a crash and they were doing a catch fence repair or something.
Yep.
And they were worried about the rain coming, so it was sort of like hey, let's get this rolling now. We'll get this out the way sort of thing. But if we had got the whole thing in, I think it would have been cool to do because it was really cool as it was.
Because I did hear that they were going to do something with the cars on the track. And the problem was, with our car anyway, Tyson's got that left-hand panel covered in. Yep. I'm a fatty. Our other crew guy's not as fat as me, but he's getting close. And we're thinking, if we have to get this car out there, how are we getting it there?
Who's driving?
Yeah, who's hopping in to drive? We can't drive. Like,
yeah.
So we'll sort of sit there thinking, and then all of a sudden Tyson just disappeared. I looked around, didn't see anyone. Oh, we're next to Blido, but I had no idea what was happening. Otherwise, I would have been down there. And then that's when people were like sending me screenshots of what they were capturing on Claverview back home, saying, "What the heck is going on? Like, this is cool." And I'm thinking, "Damn, that's cool." Like, I could see the stuff over the trailers, but I couldn't. I didn't know what was going on. But man, when I went back and watched it, I thought, "Jeez."
You know, it was cool. Even like when you'd finish the heat races and you'd get the heat win. I think I won 1 or 2 heats, and you'd come into turn 1 there, and the flamethrowers off the catch fence.
Yep.
After you cross it, that was badass.
That was badass. That was like NASCAR stuff. That's like Eldorish. Yeah. How many hats did you win? 2?
2 I got. Yeah.
2. I'm sorry. Yeah. Ashley and Daniel. I should be wearing the wide open hat, but unfortunately I've killed it. They gave me a hat and I just destroyed it. I wore it too much, but I love those hats. Those hats were awesome.
Yeah, no, I gave them to the car owner. Steve-O's got one. I think Steve-O and Brian, Steve-O's dad, have been wearing them ones. So
really?
Yeah.
I'll make sure I catch up with them at Simpson and have a look at them. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
No, that'd be good. Because I thought, again, that was a pretty cool initiative I felt they chose to do. I can't remember what the budget was that they spent on free hats giving out. But it is cool to see people out there. When I do speak to people, they're wearing wide open hats, and it was just, I don't know, to me it was like a new level of professionalism bringing to this wingless division. I remember sitting on the hill at Parramatta back in like, I don't know, maybe 2010 or so, and we had like wingless come out. We didn't know what they were, and unfortunately they were sort of sold to us as sort of your budget divisions. It's where the sprint car drivers sell their dead cars to these people, and they're just backyard races. And unfortunately that sort of stigma hung around for a little bit too long, because your car that you run, I've got some footage where I did a walk around the car, and that's not a second-hand backyard operation. That's you could put wings on that and put them 360 or 410 in and go race competitively.
And I think a lot of the teams are like that now. So in the beginning, we were all running, wrecking engines, and like my car that I had all the success in. John Egan's cousin's got it now. Brock, is it?
Oh, is that Brock's car?
So that's my old car. So that car is a 1996 J&J with 29-inch torsion bars in it, stacked tube rear car. That car was one of the nicest wingless I ever drove, and I had so much success in that car. But when I built that, mate, I had an old dinosaur tank on the back of it, like had the old J&J panels on it. Like we updated it over the years. But in Victoria, everyone was getting going. Like we were all running wrecker engines and stuff like that. And when I sort of come back into wingless with Steve-O and that, realising how far it had come, like shocks-wise, bars-wise, motor packages, like you don't keep up with the standard wrecker motor no more. You don't win races with that. And even the extent, people are going with exhaust and tuning and people, like even tyres, mate. You never seen new tyres on a wingless for the first 4 years of its creation. People are just using second-hand stuff.
Yeah.
Where now it's everyone's bolting. But in saying that, I don't think good second-hand tyres are as readily available as they once were due to the price of them. I think people drive them to death now.
We haven't in New South Wales. We haven't had a second-hand tyre market since Parramatta closed. Because obviously when Parramatta closed, sprint cars didn't race for a bit. When it came back on with Eastern Creek, first promoters, the Kellys. There might have been a second-hand market, but by that stage, we were used to running our own tyres by then. We were buying them and working them. But you're right, like, who would have thought wingless teams having sipes or groovers or, like, wingless teams, I remember when we first started, we had some shocks that were off a sprint car, and we were told, "Oh yeah, they'll be right for you guys." So do we have to get them tested? Nah, she'll be right. Nah, you'll be right. Now you're looking at them now, like they're bolting on like. I mean, I don't know what. I don't even know what to think of like some of these Slade packages or
Yeah,
these double valved FK packages and stuff like that. Like,
but even the image, like tow cars, transporters.
yeah,
You know, the graphics on the cars now, like the whole sport is lifted to like a whole nother level.
yep,
And once it's kind of the same old thing. Once one or two people start, hey, let's put some FK shocks on our cars, and because that stuff makes a difference. But you got to do something to keep up. Then
yeah. Well, I remember when we put on Isaac Ruse gave us a set of FKs, bolted them on the car, and the car instantly, like we're still struggling back those days with motor package, but the car instantly just changed. He went from mid runner to front run. Like, what else did we change? Nothing. And I wasn't saying he's a terrible driver and all that. You can only drive to what your equipment is. And it's just crazy how, like, you talk about those people doing it. Like, one of the big people in New South Wales, I'll go ahead and say, would have to be the Egans. John Egan. They just bring a level of professionalism. They take so much pride in their cars. It's almost like what he does. Like,
yeah. And I think that when you obviously you have to people, especially this day and age, when you trying to look after your sponsors, every bit of professionalism, like t-shirts and the transport, everything being clean and tidy, there's an old thing, return on investment, and it's pretty hard to give a return on investment in Speedway sometimes. So
very hard,
present yourself well and looking after your sponsors and doing all them things, but just compared to now compared to like 10, 12 years ago, it's chalk and cheese on wingless racing.
So being a tin top fan, base or the rest, where wingless is doing good to keep you occupied or still interested in it. Then as soon as we lose you, that's when we know we've done something wrong. I think.
No, do you know what? I never ever would have seen myself going back to wingless. Like I wouldn't have, unless Steve-O had rang me, I wouldn't have looked back to go to do this much wingless racing again.
Yep.
But man, I'm glad I did, because I've had some of the most fun the last few years I've ever had, and against the biggest fields.
Yeah.
Like they just get massive numbers, and like I say, you've got to be on your mark every time you roll out the gate.
Nah, man. Well, I'm glad you're still around. So, because you are a character, and I'm glad. You like what you did up at Toowoomba. I thought was very impressive. Keep an eye on you in Sydney has been good, and I'm looking forward to what I see from you coming out of SummerSlam. If there's someone who can do it, I believe it's definitely you're definitely a car up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how you go. Before I let you run off, and I appreciate you giving us the time, what would have to be your favourite racetrack? Now, if you want to give me multiple ones based on like tin tops are better here, but wingless is better here, I'm happy with that.
Wingless at Simpson is badass.
Yeah, okay.
Simpson's probably one of my most favourite tracks. I'm a big fan of Midwestern Speedway Darlington. It's another little bull ring.
Yep.
I like bull rings. Modified sedans, King of Roy Speedway, mate, is the Graceland. That the King's Royal up there.
That's pretty cool.
Insane, and it's the most. Oh yeah, it's Hollywood.
Sorry, I don't buy too many pay-per-views for anything other than wingless racing. Like I do watch sprint car racing, but I will watch that King of Roy sedan race. Man, that is awesome. That is so cool.
And same thing, lots of cars, and you gotta be on it.
Yep.
But, I don't know. I kind of like all tracks. Like I love the sport. So there's a little track here, Druin Speedway. I'm a member there now. It's a little sand track. They race on Sundays. I've got they call it a sports sedan, 100 lapper car. We do the 100 lap derby. But I take that out there in our crash and bash cars and do demo derbies out there. And, they got a big hill there, and everyone parks on the hill. And I like racing everywhere, man. I do have. There's not so much a favourite track. I think, if I get to be at the Speedway on a weekend, like a Saturday or a Sunday, I don't think it really matters where it is. I'm happy to be there. So everywhere is good to me.
No, that's good, man. What's been your favourite moment in the sport?
Favourite moment in the sport? One was rolling out on the infield for my first classic for engine starts. That
Yeah,
was
that would be pretty cool. Badass to see.
the crowd and that was pretty cool. And I got to have a shot at racing against my dad in like 2009 in a street stock at Horsham on a long weekend.
How was that?
He tried to put me in the wall, but
Love it.
My dad, he won 2 or 3 titles in sedans over the years, and he used to race a class called bumper cars, which was a local Victoria class. So they're allowed to race and spin each other.
Yep,
like the
I've seen bumper cars. Yep, years ago. Yep.
So it took me the whole heat race to get by Dad, and then on the last lap down the back chute, the cheeky old bugger just got in my quarter and tried to unload me. I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing?" He's like, "I wasn't letting you have it easy, mate. Come on."
What a legend! That is so cool. Oh,
so
man.
yeah, probably that moment. And my son, he's raced a quarter midget. I reckon taking him racing's been pretty cool. We're just building him a junior sedan at the minute. So
that changes things, doesn't it? When you're building a car for the next one to come through.
Yeah. It's Paul Solomon said once, the owner of Dirtex. He said he reckons he's a better race car driver now because now he's got kids. All he's got to worry about is being a good dad. So the race car driving comes easier. And when I heard him say that, I think he's right. Like, I think when you're worried about doing the important things in life, I think the race car stuff happens a lot easier.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, you don't emphasise as much about being the superstar you're always trying to be because now you just want to be a good dad and racing cars is fun,
So would it almost go as far as say that you're enjoying racing now than you did back when you first started in wingless?
More than I ever have.
Okay.
Which is, it's very strange. My life's twice as stressful as it's ever been. But racing, I don't know. I just love the people, man. I love the sport. And like I say, I'm not fussy on divisions. I like just watching good racing or being at good racing. I'm easy. So, but yeah, no, I'm loving it at the minute. So I think I'm on borrowed time. When my son starts racing pretty hardcore, I think that's going to pull that up pretty quickly. So
yeah, all my stuff stopped then. So, but I don't know. He's getting to the age now where someone said to me the other week, they go, "Man, how many cars you got in the workshop now? Now that you destroyed a few?" And I thought, couple. Oh, so when are you going to put your name on one? Oh. So maybe I might see it soon. Who knows? I'll be the slowest driver ever. But look, hey, I really appreciate your time giving us, and I look forward to catching up with you too down south. I'd like to give everyone an opportunity to thank their sponsors on the show. I'm amazed that actually I get a couple of views on these shows. Like at first, when I first kicked off, me and Bellido thought we were going to get maybe 15 or something views, but people do watch. So yeah, mate, give us take the time to give us a thanks to your sponsors to help you up and down the highway.
Yeah, mate, Tritech Lubricant, obviously Garlic Racing. Without Steve-O and Brian and Craig, I wouldn't be able to go racing at the minute. So we've got Tritech Lubricants on the car. Big thanks and shout out to Pez. Electricians today, Nick's Plumbing, B&B Retaining Walls, Miles Mechanical, Southeast Property and Maintenance Services, Lake Bolac Excavations, and everybody else on the car. I think BOC Tyres, Ramsdale Wreckers, just everyone who helps that team. I've had a couple of blokes jump on just buying us a tyre here and there lately. We really appreciate that.
That helps, yeah.
That's been helping massively. And just a massive thanks to Wide Open Clothing for getting on the series and all the series guys too. Like I say, there's no other national series in this country at the minute. So, and the fact that it was an idea based off a couple of drivers that are passionate about the sport and they're making it happen.
Yep.
I think pretty badass. And just thank you to you too, Andrew, for painting the sport in a good light, mate, and giving us a platform to thank our sponsors and tell their stories on.
Yeah, no, hey, as I said, this is all the drivers' stories, and I've been learning so much. So a lot of the people I've never spoken to before, and I look forward to the next person I've got on the show. I haven't spoken to him either, so it's great. But no, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. For everyone else, that's Brad Warren. We learned something new about him. Be sure to jump on his racing page. I'll add it to the link below. And until the next time, thank you very much and take care.